Good morning and or afternoon, and welcome to the Table Scraps podcast. Today, we're talking about our videos, believe it or not, but also what kind of value they bring to our clients.
Our topic for the day comes from a direct message on what the ROI is on our videos and why people pay for them. So we go into that. It might surprise you a little bit. It's not necessarily metrics based, but I think you'll be happy with the answer.
It was a little clickbaity.
That's the intro.
All right, get your throat clears out.
I think I'm good.
Okay.
But yeah, it kind of sucked that we missed that podcast last week.
Yeah, here we are 2 weeks later. We were on a roll too.
I know, but it didn't really suck because we were having fun.
Yeah, it was for a good purpose, I would say. But since we did miss the last week, why don't we start with 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Begin our recap there. So
yeah, some of the stuff we did 2 weeks ago. I mean, that was Katie and I's trip down to Cape Coral to film a video with Dave Burgess and Justin Wagner on this kind of crazy boat that he built, so custom for Dave, who's handicapped, to be able to get in and out of this thing. And man, what a great story to just make a video on.
yeah, for sure. We talked about it a little bit on the last pod, but I'm glad that it's out now. So when people are listening, they've seen it at this point, hopefully get a good idea of what they actually did to that boat, because it's pretty insane.
Yeah, Katie wrote a Facebook post today just talking about the power of vulnerability and how inspiring that video was for her, and we hope for a lot of people that watch it.
Yeah, I started to read that caption, and I was like, oh, this doesn't seem like Brad. And then I got to the end, and it was Katie. I'm like, okay, that makes more sense. The power of vulnerability is definitely a good Katie line, but it's also a good line in general.
Yeah, and it was something that we weren't sure that Dave was going to get behind, because it's hard to put yourself out there like that. It's hard to talk about your weaknesses or flaws or whatever you want to call it. But he did that for us, and I think he was very happy with how we portrayed him in the video and the response that he got back from it. I think he was pretty overwhelmed by it.
Yeah, I mean, you could call them weaknesses or flaws because that's what they are at face value, but like Katie says, maybe it's a strength.
Yeah.
You can just get an idea of the type of resilience that he has.
Yeah.
I mean, even talking about his accident, he's pretty straightforward about it. You know, it happened. There's not much you can do about it. The first thing he thought about afterward is just, how can I get back to doing what I was doing before?
Yeah, and he said that he wasn't very comfortable talking about it either. He certainly hasn't publicly talked about it, so that was the first time doing that. But he was very articulate with it. He seemed very composed and delivered the message well. And we were able to kind of pick and choose what we wanted to use to keep it quick and not make that the focus of the video, because that was his request. And he was happy.
Good for him for putting himself out there, and it turned into a really good video. So
yeah, so what about your week? We were down there in Florida for 4 days. I mean, what were you doing back here?
Just messing around with Wank at Sensation, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the first Sensation episode that I had edited, so that alone took some time to get used to that type of project. I haven't really worked that closely with those guys before, but we spent a couple days shooting while you were gone. One of the days shooting was for the bit at the beginning of the video, which I feel like was, we've tried to execute things like that before, but I feel like that was one of the first times that we actually, like, I had the shot list and we executed most every shot. Did it come out perfect? No, but I still think it was pretty funny at the end of the day, and it was something new and experimental, and Wank really liked doing it. Kyle liked doing it. It's goofy. It's definitely not meant to be taken seriously. But it was fun to shoot. It comes from inspiration of watching cold opens on like The Office or Brooklyn Nine-Nine, all these sitcom shows that always start off with like a hook. It's essentially a hook, but it's just a comedy bit.
Kind of funny that the two videos that we were working on were so opposite of each other in the same week.
Yeah, you were working on something very serious, and I was just over here goofing around. Yeah. But two totally different projects, two totally different videos, but good learning experiences for both of us, I would say.
Yeah, and you didn't want to throw me under the bus for just taking all the lenses with me, so you didn't have a zoom lens for that?
2 prime lenses. The A7 III is not a shitty camera by any means. It's still a very good camera, but yeah, I can't help but feel like I'm at a little bit of a deficit.
Oh yeah,
I know
Oh,
Wank
yeah.
wasn't afraid to roast you about it. He's like, I'm going to talk to Brad about this.
Oh, he did.
He's like,
he
we
did.
got to get
It's
more
like,
lenses.
next time we need that zoom lens
Yeah.
here when we're doing this.
But watch the video. Like I said, not perfect, but for our first cold open bit, it turned out okay, I'd say.
Yeah,
But
I think they liked it.
Mostly sensation editing. And then you guys came back, and then we went right into another trip, which is why we missed the podcast last week. And that trip was, I don't even know how to explain. I don't know how to describe it.
It started off just with work because I decided to make the commitment to have the Dave Burgess video edited and published by Thursday, knowing that we were leaving on Wednesday, and I got home on Sunday night. I think Sunday night. So we had Monday and Tuesday to make that. And then on top of that, I committed to a walkthrough video of the 42. That was just completely out of the blue. So you had to pick up the slack on that one.
Yeah, per usual. I just happened to ask, hey, is there anything I can do? And there absolutely always is. But no, it was fine. I was happy to pick it up. Yeah, we started off the trip. So the trip, we went to Idaho for Brad's brother's, Brian's bachelor party. There was 17 dudes, and we went and stayed out in a mountain house on a lake 30 minutes away from a mountain that we skied on for a couple of days, or 3 days, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when we got there, immediately I was just on the plane, in the car to the Airbnb, at the Airbnb, working on this walkthrough video. I didn't mind it. I knew what I committed to in helping you with that. You had already said, get it to a certain point, I'll take it from there. So it still felt like camaraderie in a sense.
Oh, yeah.
It felt
we worked on
it felt
together.
like teamwork, where I was like, I always enjoy the opportunity to hand a video back and forth like that, even if it's something like a walkthrough, relatively simple. And, you know, we pushed the envelope a little bit, not to mention the fact that we were there Wednesday to Sunday. It's a longer sized bachelor party.
Yeah.
So the fact that we had to work a little bit on Wednesday, I mean, I was sitting outside looking at a massive lake surrounded by mountains while I was doing it. There's worse places to be working.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I think we worked a little bit every day. I mean, you can never get away from the social media posts. Those have to go out every day. And that's just part of it. We go on so many trips and do so many things that it's just always a little bit of every day.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. It works for me.
We talk about it.
I'm not going to say it works for you. Like, no, you tell me.
It does. It does. I mean, I wouldn't be sitting here if it didn't.
Yeah.
It's definitely, we've talked about it before. It's hard to get used to at first, but when you understand what that flexibility means throughout the course of a year, and you're not just focusing on like, oh, I had to work a little bit on Wednesday, which was a vacation day. Mm-hmm. You just treat it differently.
Yeah.
Like with it being us, I don't feel like, oh, I took my PTO and screw the company and, you know, it'll survive while I'm gone. Like, it's not like that. If 1 out of 3 people walks away, that would be like if 1/3 of a corporation took all vacation on the same day and left, like shit would fall apart.
Yeah.
So it's just working in a smaller unit, but I'm happy to do it.
And then, I mean, even while we're out there, we're taking pictures the whole time, right? Like, I think we delivered a couple hundred again at this
every trip you go on, you've got deliverables at the end.
Yeah. And I mean, the wildlife was pretty crazy out there, and I'm slowly getting obsessed with taking pictures of birds. And we had bald eagles, maybe golden eagles. We still don't know. We'll put the picture up. You guys tell us. We don't know what this bird is.
Yeah, we'll put up a social post to like leave a gap here so that even if you're listening on Spotify and you can't see, you'll still see maybe the reel on Instagram. So just like right here, image of Brian skiing. Right here, image of an eagle. Here again, an image of me skiing.
Ooh.
Here, group shot.
Oh,
yeah. Am I standing up or am I on the ground? Hard to say.
Yeah. Watch the podcast. Don't listen to it.
Yeah. But if you didn't, here's the reel. Here's all the content that I'm naming off right here. But it was a great trip. It was definitely one for the books. Brian was thrilled.
Oh, yeah. It was crazy that we got 17 guys all to commit to go out there.
I know.
I mean, 3 or 4 of them had never been, we'll call it west of the Mississippi, like never seen mountains or anything. So they got their first taste of that. A couple guys had never skied before. Everybody tried. We did a fishing charter, took pictures for that, got the drone up for that. Like, I sent them all to that captain, so hopefully he can use them for his social media.
Did you?
Yeah,
nice.
I did.
Well, did you see that Tyler was already on the website? They threw up a picture of him with his fish because, I mean, it was pretty big.
Yeah. Trout, right?
Yeah.
Rainbow trout.
Yeah. I think they caught a couple of rainbow and a couple of brown trout too. And we caught a single rainbow trout. There was 2 boats, one with 11 guys, one with 5 guys, and the 5-guy boat caught 3 fish, hooked 4, and the 11-guy boat hooked and caught a single fish, and it was like half the size of all the other fish on the other boat.
Brutal.
It was comical.
And that was the one picture that we got of like any fish.
I mean, you go on a charter, it's what you expect. At least when the line snagged, we gave it to Bri. He got his fish, and then the rest of us kind of just hung out, enjoyed the views. It was a nice lake cruise.
Yeah, and the other funny part was that our boat with the 11 guys on it didn't really bring much beer on the boat, and the captain was just roasting us. And little did we know, the boat with 5 guys on it had about 10 beers a person. Like every one of the guys that went on that boat brought a backpack full of beer.
We did not split the alcohol up proportionately.
No.
And they drank all that beer too.
I know. But it was nice when we got back to the house because their boat pretty much just all passed out and we went strong the rest of the day.
Yeah, they definitely cashed out a little early. Yeah. But yeah, so great trip.
Yep.
Great memories. Brian was satisfied. I'd say everybody was.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's just you don't get trips like that very often, and you gotta take advantage of the situation when you can. So
yeah, the texts are still rolling in that group chat. We'll see how long that goes.
Yeah, probably. I would say it's probably gonna be at least another couple weeks. Everyone's still just thinking about it and missing it, and you know, every time you crack a beer, you're like, remember that beer that we had on the top of the mountain 2 weeks ago? I'll be thinking about that trip for a while for sure.
Yep.
And then rolling into this week, that trip basically made Monday worthless. We didn't get until 1. I didn't get home till like 2 a.m. on Monday.
2:30, I think it was.
Yeah.
Some of the guys didn't get home till 3
Yeah.
because they had to drop people off and whatnot.
So Monday was basically a wash.
Joke.
And then the rest of the week, I've been working on Mark Morris, which I've been talking about for a while. The video itself is
exceptional.
You liked it?
Yeah, it was so good.
Thank you, dude.
And it's
I
not even
appreciate that.
you didn't even color grade it yet, and I was just like drooling over it watching it the first time.
Yeah, there's a little bit left to be tweaked, but it's always like I tell you, I show you a video and I'm like, this is either good or it's a piece of crap. So I never know. I can never tell personally. After you spend so much time in it, I'm like, oh my god, like was it worth it?
Yeah.
And then I show you and I get a good reaction. And I'm like, that's all I need to hear. It doesn't feel like I wasted any time or anything like that. Now we just, we're waiting on the Speed on the Water guys for some feedback. And if they like it, we'll fine tune it. And then it should be published. It'll be this week. If you're listening to this Monday, it'll be this week. It'll be on YouTube.
Wednesday or Thursday, one of those days. Yep. We got to see what the feedback is from the boys.
I'm hoping it's good. I feel like they usually have some constructive criticism that is relatively easy to implement. But
and sometimes it's not always that easy, but we always try to accommodate what they want.
Yeah. I never have any issue with it. When I share for feedback, the point is I'm looking for advice. And I mean, they're producing the video, so they have just as much say in it. I want them to be happy with the product. So
yeah, and it lives on their YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So they own it. Right?
Yep, exactly. But yeah, that was pretty much my whole week was getting that done and then sitting down for this podcast, and then I'll be editing this immediately afterward and then screwing off into the weekend. Yep.
Should be a good weekend. But our topic for today comes from a question that came in through a LinkedIn direct message.
You don't hear that very often.
Almost never, actually. Yeah. The LinkedIn messages are constant, but they're almost always spam.
Oh, it's garbage.
Oh, it's the worst.
Well, it's garbage, or it's like, hey, I think you'd be great for this position. And I still
and
get
all
those.
Mine are like related to IT.
Same.
Like,
how do you? Guys, I thought maybe when I changed my position to creator at Scrapyard, it would stop. It's still like, hey, I think you would love this position in the suburbs of Illinois, working for a food company. And I'm like, no, I'm done. Stop.
But apparently, Rick Van Dam, a guy that we met at the Sunrun a couple years ago, he's on LinkedIn and he's following the boating stuff.
Good.
So he threw this message our way. I'm going to read this, and we'll put it up on the screen for anybody watching. This is from Rick. I enjoy and appreciate your content. You do an amazing job. Keep it up. We met at the Sunrun back in 2022, and we're big fans of Sensation. They own a 32. I saw your post on the 400R V10 and the 500R recently and was curious to learn how you measure ROI. I understand views are important, but how do they contribute to the bottom line for manufacturers? Your insights would be very helpful. Call me anytime if it's easier to speak over the phone. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Rick. Great message.
Yeah, it sparked some thoughts for us.
Very thought out. But yeah, so this message gave us an idea for the topic today. And we figured we'd dive a little bit deeper into the value that our videos provide, because it goes a lot deeper than just surface level. You know, we have examples like In the Lead, where it's really storytelling and it's about publishing videos for Speed on the Water. And we throw advertisements into the videos. You know, it's basically like classic billboard advertising. You see a company's name, you think of it. Maybe you go to them for your next need in whatever that realm is. But we find that the value that we create for a lot of our clients, especially the manufacturers, there's a lot more to it than that. You know, there's like a very surface level impressions type of metric. How many people see this thing, and then how many thoughts do you generate for those people about, oh, maybe I need a boat. But there's just a lot more to it. So we wanted to give some examples with a few of our videos and kind of dig a little deeper on that.
Yeah, and a typical word that we see around metrics is engagement, right? You're thinking of that as likes, comments, views, but some of the examples that we're going to go into are real life engagement. We're talking phone calls, in-person conversations, shop visits. Like, that's the type of engagement that our videos are creating. Totally different than what you would think.
There's a lot more that's generated out of a video, and it doesn't have nothing to do with the views, but it has a lot to do with a lot more than just that.
Yeah. So we picked out like 4 or 5 different types of videos that we make, and we're going to go through each of these and kind of talk about what value those have driven for the clients. And the first one that we're going to start with is our walkthrough videos. We've done a few of these over the last couple of years, but we're just going to pick one in particular, and it's a 34CCX walkthrough that we made for Unreal Performance, where Jeff Reel was the host, essentially, walking you through the 34CCX. And this video, after we posted it, not only did it sell that boat instantly by getting a phone call, Jeff or Brian getting a phone call saying, hey, I just watched that video. I'd like to come see that boat and buy that boat. It had other people that watched the video that then said, hey, can I come buy that boat? And no, sorry, it's sold. But now they're in a conversation with somebody who knows everything about the boat. They don't have to qualify that lead, right? Like, they don't have to say, oh, it has a bathroom, or this is the speed that it can reach, because we covered all that in the video. They're coming in and they know exactly what they want. So It really helps qualify the lead and the time spent by the dealer, that they just don't have to do that.
It's an educated lead. They're coming in with way more information than they would have before. And what's nice about that video is that it will just exist for all time, at least until, maybe that model doesn't exist anymore tens of years down the line. Mm-hmm. But for now, that's a great reference video too. For anybody that's any of the dealers that wants to sell a 34, anybody that wants to know more about the 34, that just exists on YouTube. Probably one of the first things you see when you Google that, or when you search on YouTube for that specific model. And so now that's just an educational video, and people get, like you said, a lot better of an idea of what's included before they reach out.
It's a real nice tool for them.
Yep, absolutely.
So ROI on that, selling a boat, like, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're shooting for at the end of the day, right? If we're working with a boat brand, a boat dealer, a boat manufacturer, just trying to sell boats.
And you go look, the video lives on Speed on the Water's YouTube channel. I think it has like 3,000 views. So anybody that's just looking at internet stuff is going to say that was a failure, right? But they sold a $500,000+ boat.
Yeah, the point of that video was not to get crazy views. It was to get specific views that would then lead to specific leads and then boats being sold.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we do with the walkthrough videos. That's what we're looking for with a walkthrough. We're trying to sell a boat. We're trying to give a tool to a dealer in order to sell future boats and do the work for the dealer without them having to really do anything. So moving on to the next type of video is one of our review videos. The video that actually was mentioned by Rick in the message there. the 500R review. How do you measure ROI on that? Well, the first thing that we thought when we were going to make this video is that it was going to do well view-wise, because we had already made the 400R video and it had 170,000 views or something. That's a viral video for Sensation on the YouTube channel.
Definitely.
So we were going to try to target that again. We wanted views to be, over 100K, because we did that with the 400R. But we also wanted to show off our boats. And I say our. I used to work at Sensation.
You'll never
lose
it.
That.
Yeah, you'll never lose it.
But we try to show off the boats and show them with the new package and show what they can do and try to upsell, get people interested in the 500s, get them confident in the 500s. And it was a great motor. It is a great motor. So it's not like we're fabricating anything.
No, it was a very honest take on it. And I think that was a little bit hard to accept at first. It felt like a gamble putting that video out there. But the point is, by the end of the video, once things are tuned up and the guys are feeling good about it, you can tell, okay, these motors are worth purchasing. I mean, what Ryan said, like, everyone's going to want to upgrade.
Yeah.
It goes without saying that there's going to be a little bit of issues you're going to run into at the beginning, especially for people that understand boats and understand boat engines, motors, whatever you want to call them. They know that it takes some work. So do automotive guys. Anybody that's into that type of thing, it's fine tuning. Yeah. So it's impossible to get it perfect on the first try. You almost don't want to. You want to feel that progression until you finally get to the point where you're like, okay, now we've nailed it. At the end of that video, they're like, there's more left in it. We still haven't even got it quite there, but even with where we're at, these motors are going to be badass.
Yeah, and we left it kind of like unfinished testing on the 32, but the 34 was dialed in, so we were presenting that as a finished test, right? And that was the one that guys at Sensation got a call, and the lead just said, I want to buy that exact boat. And Unreal had already sold it. So they're like, okay, we'll just build you another one. So we sell a build slot right off the bat.
Boat sold, build slot sold. We talked about people upgrading. That's definitely going to be a thing. People that already have Sensations or outboards or any boats in general that are already using the 450s or the 400s, they see the 500s, they see that feedback from boat guys, they're going to want them.
Yeah, no doubt. And some of the other things. So we called Ryan and just asked him before this pod, what were some of the benefits that you got? Like, why do you invest in video? Because he's one of our biggest clients.
Yeah, beyond the 500 and beyond the review, all of it, the Sensation content that we create regularly.
Yeah, and one of the things that he brought up was related to the Sensation Nation episodes that we make, which get between, 500 and 1,500 views on YouTube. So pretty much nothing, like very little.
Hey, it's pretty good.
Yeah. But again, like he's not sitting there going, oh, we're making these videos so that we can have a YouTube channel that blows up. Like, would that be cool? Yeah, but that's not really practical. And that's kind of out of our control. We're making what we can. But what it does do is it creates a comfortability with the people that watch this that then may call and want to buy a boat later down the road. So when people are calling up Ryan, they already feel like they know him because we've had these videos that are more like vlogs or behind the scenes videos. I mean, we talked about vulnerability before. Like, we show the mistakes that everybody makes. Like, we're not trying to be perfect. We're just trying to show people that we care and that we really love building these boats.
Yeah, and we show the people at Sensation exactly as they are. Maybe we do a funny bit here and there, but that speaks to who those guys are too. Like, oh yeah, this would be fun. And then beyond that, when we're shooting them at the shop, they're just behaving normally. So to your point, they call, they're getting the exact version of the person that they've been watching in these videos. And we talked a little bit too about how there's this level of convenience that people have where everything's online now. You don't have to go to a manufacturer or to a dealer to see a boat and understand it. You can get a lot of that through the internet now. So when people go to look at these things like Sensations, they're seeing the content that we're making, and they still have that level of convenience mixed with the personal touch of what you would have gotten if you were in person with somebody.
Right.
They watch these videos and they get a feeling for who the company is and who the people at the company are. And so I think that's kind of leverage for Sensation in that you can still stay at home and do everything you want to do, and you'll still get to know us a little bit too.
Essentially, Sensation Nation is the walkthrough video for the people of Sensation. You've got the walkthrough video where you leave that video going, okay, I know everything about the 34CCX. But you watch a Sensation Nation episode and you're like, okay, I kind of know these guys now, right? So you combine those two things together, and that's an experience that Sensation gives you that really no other company will in this industry.
Yeah, and I think it shows. I mean, yeah, the view count is relatively low, but you know that's a loyal fan base, and it's also people that own these boats. And as soon as you draw somebody in and they start to feel that belonging, that community, then another boat sold, another view on YouTube. And it's kind of like, it's fun because we're making it for us, we're making it for Sensation, we're making it for Sensation owners.
And they keep investing in it, so it's clearly working. I mean, they got a guy coming in today who's just a couple years out on buying a boat, and he's watched all the videos. So he comes in, he knows Ryan, you know?
Yeah, he wanted to come in just because he was in the area.
Yeah, and he watches all those videos for over a year that we've been creating them. Then he comes into the shop, gets met by the dealer, gets met by the factory. They take him on a factory tour, show him around, show him the boats. Like, there's no way that guy's leaving the brand. He's not even going to go look at another brand, right?
Yeah, well, if he does, I feel like he's going to be disappointed. He's not going to get that same level of treatment.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I haven't
well,
seen
of course,
it,
we're
but
supporting Sensation. Nothing against other boat brands.
Yeah.
Like, we hope to work with you one day too, but we just know Sensation so personally, and we know how passionate those guys are, and that they're going to make sure that that guy feels taken care of.
Yeah, maybe we should hop off the Sensation train right now.
Yeah, well, okay.
Move
then
on to
let's
something else.
let's stop talking about Sensation. We talk about Sensation quite a bit. You're right. So why don't we move into a different type of example? So let's talk about Boyne Thunder.
Okay.
Let's talk about an event video.
Yeah. How is that video measured? What's the value that Boyne Thunder is looking for in that? I don't think it's views because they never really asked for us to publish it anywhere, right? They just wanted it made. Mm-hmm. The thing that they're looking for is exposure of their event. They want it to look a certain way. They want it to be the best event in the country.
Which, arguably, it is.
Yeah. I mean, I'm biased. I live in Michigan, so I think it's the best.
Yeah, but beyond that, we're talking about the video that we make. We're talking about the night of video, the 24-hour, 48-hour turnaround video, whatever you want to call it. The video behind that, the longer form. And then everything about it, honestly.
The street party, the bands on every corner, the fresh water versus the salt water.
Yeah.
Like it's just a special place. Mm-hmm. And like you said, that
video...
Nothing
against other events. We hope to work with you guys too.
Yeah.
Address this again. But Boyne is just, it's great.
Yeah, and their program director, Ingrid Day, reaches out to us pretty often and just is like, how's the video doing? Like, it's over 200,000 views now. Wow, that's incredible. Like, we sold out this year in under 2 minutes, and you don't know exactly why. It's partially because the event is great. It's partially because they have good coverage of it with Speed on the Water and Speedboat Magazine and their local media and this video, right? Like, everybody's watching this video. The day that registration opened, the week that it opened, the video spiked another 50,000 views. Like, there's only 100 or 200 people or boats going to this event. Like, where are these other 50,000 views coming from? It's because people know about that event.
Yeah.
And so the value for them, cool, they get good views, but their event is thriving.
Yeah,
right?
They're looking at that. How fast are people registering? They're looking at how many people are showing up to the street party or to the event in general. I imagine at this point it's growing every year. So beyond even the people that can register and participate, I mean, I shot from the coast and it was packed with people.
Yeah.
And so I imagine that that's just going to continue to grow. The street party, it was like almost hard to walk through the street in certain areas. Like you said, so many bands, so much food. Like it's just
blocks and blocks.
It's so
street.
good. That's what Ingrid cares about. Is it's so good for the city. It's so good for Boyne. And I can't help but think it has a lot to do with the video services that we're providing. It's just hype. It just builds it up.
And I mean, not only hyping up the event, but hyping up the charities at that event. She said, hey, we want to highlight the charities in a different way. We're not just going to have the people come up and like say, hey, I'm with Challenge Mountain and we are one of the beneficiaries. Like, they've gone down that road. Let's take it to the next level. Okay, we go to Challenge Mountain. We make a video with that organization. We show the kids' faces that are benefiting from that. Put it in the dinner video in front of everyone right before the auction. And what does that do? That just creates another level of connection with the charity other than just a person up there trying to give a speech.
Yeah. Yeah, so to that point, not just the city thriving, not just the event thriving, but also these charities see a direct impact as well. So it's almost more important, if not just as.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so we got one other event that we're going to cover this year outside of Boyne Thunder, and we're hoping that we have the same impact on them, right? The Katawa Poker Run.
Yeah, same type of result, same type of process, looking to build it out so that we can just offer this as a service to really any event. I mean, poker runs for sure, but if we can do this type of sprawling coverage across 3 days and 5 locations, and we do that with 4 people,
and put out the video in a week.
Yeah. So I feel like no matter what the event is, I feel like we could accomplish it.
Yeah.
And we'll just keep enlisting people if we need to. Boyne this year, Matt, thanks again for joining us last week or 2 weeks ago, I guess, on the podcast. We appreciated that. Hope your trip to Florida went okay. If you guys want to check out anything that he did, Circus Media on Instagram. But Matt's going to be coming with us to Boyne this year. Yeah, we're enlisting him.
Oh, no, he's coming to Sunrun.
Oh, it's Sunrun? Shit.
All right, well, I asked him to come to Boyne, and poor guy's got to go to Belize and shoot some charter fishing down there.
Poor Matt.
Yeah.
Bastard.
No, I tried, but we got him for the Sunrun, so I'm pumped for that.
Yeah.
He'll be with us for the 3 days on that. And,
we try to avoid sensation. Here we are again, right back at it.
I mean, they give us the most work.
I know. We love them. We love them. What can we say?
I know.
But yeah, it'll be great to have Matt out.
Yeah, so I guess we're in the leftovers portion of this pod.
We've officially made it to the leftovers.
Nice.
Anything that you'd like to discuss? What did I already addressed Matt?
Yeah.
Wanted to shout him out again.
I wanted to shout out Matt and Jason on the podcast that they did last week.
Okay.
It was on Powerboat Talk, and they always speak so highly of us, and we really appreciate that. Like,
yeah,
talking about the videos that we make, giving us the credit, not being like, oh, we made everything. Like they say, these guys made it, and they are creative too. Like, we work together as a team.
Yeah,
so
total collaboration.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Love you. Keep that business coming. We'll keep making the videos. You keep producing them. It's been amazing. Like, just within the past year, I've got to experience so much based on the In the Lead series. So, yeah, it's great.
I hope we keep doing it too. And the Mark Morris one, that's the last one that we had for this season. And that's going up this week. So that was another thing.
Only other thing I wanted to shout out was Lola, whose birthday was yesterday.
Who's Lola?
This is my golden retriever. She's 2 years old. I don't know what else to say.
How did you guys celebrate?
We haven't yet. Actually, today, when I finish this podcast, we're going to go to a dog bakery and get her a cake. So
she doesn't mind that it's not her actual birthday?
Nah, I don't think so. She got like a few new balls yesterday. She seemed pretty thrilled.
Right. Wow, you guys really spoil your dog.
It's not me. I understand that Lola is a dog and treats every day the same, but also, Madison is always giving her good attention and making her feel loved. So no judgment, I swear. I stand behind it. I'll go to the dog bakery today. I'll have a good time. I'll enjoy it. So will Lola. We'll leave it at that.
Nice. Well, I guess I only had a couple other things. The Kraken 2.0 video is dropping this week. Katie's been working hard on that. She's fully editing that on her own, so it should be pretty similar to the other one, but I think it's just a lot of good humor in there. Like,
yeah,
I think Katie's hilarious, but she's my wife. So.
Yeah, I mean, if it's anything like Katie, then there'll be some laughs.
Yeah. And then coincidentally, Monday is the first of the month, and we'll be sending out another newsletter. So if you want to sign up for our newsletter, it has a couple of the projects that we've done throughout the month, links to this podcast, and just kind of keeps you informed as far as what we're doing at Scrapyard Media. You can sign up for that at our website at scrapyardmedia.com, and we'd be happy to get you on the newsletter list.
Yeah, as always, thanks for listening. Those of you that are or watching or both, feel free to reach out to us. We love comments. I mean, we're
what do you want to see in the leftovers portion?
Yeah, let us talk about you a little
stuffing?
bit. Let us talk.
Little broccoli?
You want to be famous? You want to be famous? You reach out to us. We'll get you on here some way. But even if you don't, again, thanks for contributing. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you. All right, we're done.
Done.
Goodbye.
Bye.